Welcome everyone to today's workshop. The workshop will be hosted by our Director of International Sales, Dr. Melissa Cow.
Thank you. So thanks. Nice to see everyone coming here today. This is a series of workshop of our solution workshop. And today, particularly, we want to look at patron counting for libraries. So libraries are evolving, and data is a must part of that evolution. So today's library are no longer just repositories of books. They are a dynamic community hubs. They must also become centers of engagement, learning, and innovation. So adapting to these evolving needs of their communities. Yeah. So the mission of a library is to go beyond just lending books. So you want to empower the individuals from all walks of life to be able to access the resources to improve their quality of life. For example, a lot of libraries now are running a lot of book fairs, different events, literacy club or classes or different classes. Or any community support programs for the vulnerable groups or minority groups. But to manage all this effectively, the leaders needs visibility into how these spaces are being used, who they are serving to, and how the programs are driving engagement. So what they require now a patron counting system. So it is a vital step in ensuring the library's sustainability. So you need to accurately measure the visitor traffic so that you can provide a compelling and quantifiable evidence for funding justification. So in order so that you can improve service provision and amplifying the positive impact on the community. So let's look at we will share these slides at the end of the webinar, so then you can click on the link to look at the video as well. But let's briefly look at it. So we have you noticed is a blurry image because in our system we are privacy by design. So we put on a privacy mask on top, and hence you will see it blurry. The device itself is, of course, HD on there. So you notice here we are measuring people coming in. We measure whether they are what age and gender, and also if they are in a family group. So they come in together. This is a boy and with an adult, hence we group them as a family group. So we measure adult and children and gender. Yeah, the age and gender. There's a family group already there. So if you notice when this boy first come in, we measure it as an individual. It's a different color, it's purple color. Then as more coming in, we classify them as a family group on there. That's an individual female adult there. And then that's another female with the children come in. So that's another family group. So you can measure individually the total number of number of patron, their different age and gender, and the different group on there, whether or not they come in on their own, or they come in a group of adults, or they come in with a group mixed with children and adult, and that will be classified as a family. So what are the current challenges for libraries is some may have existing a legacy system. A lot of our library clients, they have an existing beam counters because from many years ago, they already started needing to count patrons. But the challenge with that is with the beam counter is not accurate. One, the counting itself is not that accurate because it's quite an old system. Main thing is also it cannot differentiate between adult and children and patron that comes in a wheelchair or staff member. So all this leads to unreliable data, and you often undercount because you can't count people in the wheelchair, you can't count children, then you're undercounting. So this become an inaccurate for funding justification. It might just dampen your effectiveness of any event that you're running. It's difficult to maintain because you probably need to install it in your local PC, and you're maintaining that, especially a lot of libraries, they do not have an in-house IT person, becomes very difficult to maintain it, for the system upkeep, and troubleshooting become very cumbersome. And you struggle with with an unreliable legacy software. So moving on to like FootfallCam on a cloud solution become very easy to maintain. The third part is the data retrieval, could be time consuming. The data compilation into useful, insightful reports then become, very difficult and tedious. There's no automated report from the budget constraint as well. The pricing structure make it maybe difficult to expand and to justify, the expansion on that. There's also very limited impact measurements on the different programs, so it's very difficult to evaluate even if the event effectiveness of impact on there. Therefore, in that case, it's very difficult to apply for funding specifically for certain type of event, because you have different funding, like some is overall funding for the infrastructure, some is funding to run certain program. Because you can't distinguish that, then become you might miss some opportunity there to optimize certain programs and resources. Now, how FootfallCam can address these challenges is one. Is very accurate. So we're 99% accuracy, and we can verify that. So it's very important. It's not just saying that it's 99%. We actually have a process for you to go and validate the accuracy. When you first install it, we will provide this validation to you so that you have a peace of mind that once you installed on your at the entrance, what kind of accuracy you are getting. And then in the future, from time to time, if you want to validate that, there's a process you can do that. So it's very open and transparent. Now, we can capture accurate data, trustworthy data with a combination of technology. We have another webinar that talks specifically about the sensor fusion. I will also touch a little bit on there on this. I will talk more further down below to talk about the accuracy, the reliable and hassle-free cloud-based solution with all the tech support and documentation to make it very easy to manage. We also have meaningful reporting. I will show you the reporting shortly, so how you can look at it and measure, and providing you with the insights and affordable pricing. So I will also talk briefly about the pricing and how you want to lay out for your certain library, and it's scalable for all different library, from a single branch library to a chain of library in your county, to different type of libraries, to the national library or to a university kind of library. So we will go through this in more detail shortly. Now, just wanting to say how it's giving an overview of how it's being connected up. It's very simple and straightforward for the installation. Any electrician or handyman who can run a network cable for you will be able to handle that. So it's very simply this is the device that you'll be installing, the 3D Pro 2 at your entrance. You just need to run one Cat5 or Cat6 cable. It is the standard network cable that you always have for your computer. So you just run one cable from the entrance to your back office where you have your router. You can plug straight in onto the router. If your router does not provide a power over Ethernet, then you can use we provide this mid-span with the power source. So this whole thing come in the box ready for use. We also have an installation guide that you can click on here. It just telling you briefly where you want to place it, how you connect it, and there's a QR code here for you to scan so that you can connect to the device and set it up. So it's very straightforward, and it's in different language. I believe we have it in 6 different languages on there. So this is a data sheet that you can also have a look at. And at the ceiling height of 4 meter, you'll be able to cover almost 9 meter wide. So even if you have a very wide entrance with revolving door and many double doors, it will be able to cover that. So how does it work? It is a cloud-based system with real-time access, so you can access it anywhere. So from your library, you put it at the entrance, the count data from going through your broadband at your library, it goes onto the internet, and you can then log in from anywhere. You can log in from your head office, from the library itself, or even if you're working from home, then you'll be able to keep an eye on it. And we have reporting, like your monthly reporting, your weekly reporting, or daily reporting, as well as live data on there. So you can instantly look at the visitor trend. You can react on it if you need. Now, so going back to how we address those different challenges for accuracy. So that's the data sheet that I've shown you just now. The hardware itself it can achieve 99% accuracy because we have a neural processor on top. We have a GPU with a very high frame rate, as well as very strong octa-core CPU there. And we are having a combination of different technology. We call it the sensor fusion, which include 3D stereo vision, which gives you very, very accurate, as well as AI vision to give you age and gender, and it also improve the accuracy of the 3D stereo vision. So let's have a brief look at this. You can click on it and look at this as well. So this is how it looks with the device, with the two lenses there, and in the middle with all the other technology as well. So it has a very powerful processor in there, so we can do 3D stereo vision as well as AI analytics, as I mentioned, with all the NPU, GPU, and CPU on board. So one device, you can have multiple application. We can measure number of people who come in, how long they stay in the library, and also age and gender. As you can see here, we can also exclude staff if need be. There are three technology on board, as we mentioned. This is sensor fusion, the stereo vision. Individually on their own, they're already very accurate. Now we're combining the three, increasing the accuracy even further. A lot of times when we validate the accuracy, we found it's 100%. But obviously we don't want to. We never say things 100%, but it is very, very accurate. And it has 3 times the coverage. It's very wide coverage. So where traditionally you may need 3 counters, you only need 1. And it comes with lots of metrics. Their visitor count, demographic, visit duration, even outside traffic, we can measure that. Group counting, as in if they come in a family group, and so forth. And it's optimized for different environment, for low ceiling, low lighting condition, high ceiling, and all those. And it also intelligently learn the environment. If you have a blockage suddenly, maybe you put on a balloon, and if you have made a renovation and suddenly the environment change, we also automatically detect that. It comes with an aluminum casing, not plastic, so that it become a very strong heat dissipation, so it maintains the low temperature for the chipset to function. It also comes with a splash-proof casing, so we can avoid, if you have a leak above the ceiling, so it wouldn't damage the device. Yeah. And we can count. So here we can then know who your patients, because your patrons, because we have the AI vision, so we can know adults, children, even toddler in the strollers or wheelchair. So, for example, here you can notice it here. This is a 3D stereo vision. So we have a height profile of the person, but sometimes if something is blocking it, you may not be able to see the height properly, but combining with an AI vision, we can then see that and the children inside the stroller. So it becomes very accurate, not only just on the footfall counting, but the type of footfall, the quality of the footfall. It is reliable and hassle-free, so it's a cloud-based system with almost complete uptime. Again, we don't say 100%, but it's always on. So you do not need to have a PC inside a library to act as a server, and the data is always backed up, and we backed up at different location so that you won't miss your data and you can access it online. We also have a lot of built-in admin tools. It includes a very user-friendly interface for device monitoring, reporting, for example, like here. So it will always be, so you don't have to actually log in to maintain it. It will do it automatically. These are all automated health check that are going to check on the system all the time. And if there's anything untowards, it will then send an alert, and the alert will be sent to the appropriate person. So maybe the person in charge in your library group, and to our technical as well. So then we can act on it proactively. Yeah. And technical support is included within the package. So if any issue, you just raise a support ticket and we'll respond to it. And it's also a very IT friendly design. We have all the full documentation there, and your IT team can also manage it that way. Yeah. So next, look at the reporting. So we have a suite of reporting there so that you can keep track of your peak. It's very easy to retrieve all the report. They're all automated report. You can also export it. We have, of course, the full integration, but you can also export it in Excel as well if you like. So we have a short video here. So let's say, for example, you come into the reporting, you can then click on that email. You might want to email it to your colleague, and you put in their email addresses, and then you can send the report. And then you can obviously check if the report comes through, and it comes in an Excel format for that. So all the data that is on that dashboard or reporting will be able to come into the Excel spreadsheet for you to share with your colleague or do further analytics your end. Yeah, integrated with all the others. We also we have a full API that can integrate with your library software system. So if you have a library platform, we can integrate all those data in there as well, and a lot of ready-to-use templates so that you can use it to justify your funding. So you don't have to build a report from scratch. You can, but you don't have to because we already have all this. So that, for example, what is the response for an event, a book club or a children's day? How many disabled people are attending this particular event? Or, you have money spent on a refurbishment. How is it before and after? Does it have a positive impact on that? So you can have that, and anything that you like, you can bookmark it so that it comes out straight away when you're looking at it. So let us look at more. I have it all here, but I'm going to show you more actually on the platform. So we're going to look into it specifically. Let me share a different screen. Yes, cool. So if you have multiple libraries, so you can look at the leaderboard, and then of course you can then compare with different branches as well. Yeah. So you can look at which libraries are performing best in terms of the total patron. So you can see A, B, and C, they have the highest number of patrons coming in. And you notice, of course, there are the library, maybe the bigger library in the bigger area, in the urban area. So it has a strong driver for the high footfall, and the councils can benchmark these top performing libraries to identify what kind of programs, what layout, what accessibility features are contributing to the high visits, and which locations are attracting more family groups. You might probably see these suburban area as well, of course, and you have more family group, you have more total outcome. But in this suburban area, although they have more than half the less than half the patron, but you have proportionally more family group. So then you might want to then have more specific children's reading event, weekend activities, parent groups in those library. And what does wheelchair user traffic reveal about the accessibility? So if you have less wheelchair users down here, is it because you may need better accessibility features for those to attract more of those patrons for that. Now, you can also look at the overview on here. So this is like a newspaper. So you can look at again, you can look at your whole chain or specific different type of library. These are headline numbers. So it gives you an overall, like kind of like health check of your libraries, total patron, adult, children, wheelchair users, patron groups, how many groups you have, and on their visit duration. And you can also look at the spark line. So this one gives you the trends. And you can track your visitorship across the last 100 weeks or the last 120 days. And then you can look at the trends, how many adult children that you're getting for that. And for example, you can also have a heat map so that you can identify the busiest day or busiest time of day. So then you can tie the visitor peaks to event success. So if you want to run an event, maybe you don't run on this time, or maybe you should run on this time in order to increase the number of people coming in at that time for that. You can also look at weekday, weekend profile. Why is there less people, just before the lunchtime? And here you have a deep over the lunchtime. Why? So you can also look at that. You can examine number of people there, and then you can compare the different libraries in the same region, so forth. So you can look at that. You can also look at different uh, timing. So for example, you can see you have more children uh, in the afternoon, or evening. You have more adults there. You can also look at your distribution of your library on the map there, and then you can zoom in, of course, looking at there, and you can look at the distribution. So this is the distribution of footfall across your whole chain. That then, of course, then you might want to link it with distribution of your fundings or your resources. So you can look at that. Then, of course, then you can also look at let's scroll down here uh, on the different times. So you can, of course, and you can zoom in. For example, you did an install earlier, so you started installing a device here, and that's when you started having data, and you can zoom in things like this if you like on there. And what you could also see is what happened on that day. So if you can add a comment, for example, here, then you can add a comment, on the 1st of October. So maybe I have a book fair. Then you can add a comment on there for that, so that you have so you can see that the comment is now added on. So in the future, if you have that, you know what is happening there, and also so if I click on there, you can actually view the comment on there. So it will come up with the book fair comment there. Yeah. So on there, and this will also add on to the AI. We have an AI learning of all your data. So in the future, we can predict how well a book fair turnout would be. So, and then you can also compare different book fair in October, and maybe you have another book fair here in April. So clearly the book fair in October was much more impactful than in April. Why? Because April, maybe weather is good, people are elsewhere, but in October with the miserable autumn, so people come to the library, perhaps. Yeah. And then you can also look at visit duration, how many people are staying more than 40 minutes, how many are staying only for a short time. Maybe they just come in to return books and then they leave, and so forth. So you can look at that. So this is a overall for your whole region. You can also go into individual library, similarly looking at your headline numbers, as well as daily trend by the day. You can also look at individual groups. So for example, here, your footfall was almost similar, but over the weekend, you have more proportion of children that come in compared to weekday. And on the 1st of May, That's Labor Day, so it's a holiday. So you have more people come in, for example, and then your individual people come in on their own, and people that comes in a group, you can have that, and also your profile, trend profile over weekday and weekend, so you can look at that similarly. So this is for the specific library that you can go into. Now we also have specialized reporting for like where you want to, for event organizer, for example, then you want to compare before the event, this period, during the event, and after the event. So for example, if you have certain events, so you can then look at, oh, that event were obviously very effective, and if it's tied with a weekend or something, yeah. So indicates, then during the event you have a huge uplift. So, and it's driven mainly by, for example, you have a lot more children or something like this, and the visit duration as well. So you can look at individual versus group. The visit duration during the event has increased, and so forth. And also post the event, if it still have a effect, a tail off effect after that, then you can analyze that. Yeah. So now let me go back to my previous screen. So we can, so I've gone through these to the event program popularity. What you could also do is you can, for example, do an ad hoc investigation. So for example, if I wonder what happened between this period and that period, or between with the same event, you're running a book fair in both library, this library and that library. So you can do comparison like this. For example, now I have this library for the last month in April. I can then go and compare. And if I want to compare it with March, and I can apply that, then I can see over the two period. And for example, and I see April, this suddenly I have got a very huge surge on there. The 5th of April, it was because the library hosted a book fair, and that impact was immediately visible. And you can also compare to other day, you kind of like quite similar between March and April. But on the 20th of April, you have a big deep. Again, that was because it's the holiday. So everyone goes to church instead and things like this. So it's for this. So then you can ask for, justify a funding that was really effective, and so forth. Again, of course, then you can export this to a PDF or an Excel spreadsheet to share. Yeah. So so it's very useful and very accurate. And that way, the good thing about it is affordable. It's very cost effective. A lot of time, one device is sufficient, more than sufficient to cover, because we have a very wide angle. Even traditionally where you would need 3 devices, we can cover it with 1. And our pricing model is such that it's a one-off cost. So it's around about $650, and you can expect it to last for 15 years in terms of reliability, as well as in terms of the functionalities, the features that you will need for the next 15 years. Because not only where we have all this sensor fusion with your AI vision, so that you can get age, gender, you can get all those metrics, we also have a lot of things in the back end that technical things in the back end, like prediction engine, like AI modeling, AI prediction on your future footfall and your future event effectiveness. So we have all this in the back end as well, so that it will definitely last you for 15 years in terms of what you will need, and it have an upgrade future roadmap path as well for that. And it's a very low monthly fee for $4.50 per device. So for example, for a local library, you only need to install 1 device, then your library only need to spend about $5 per month. And this includes the technical support, your software license, and there's no other hidden costs. And the full analytics, as I've shown you there, will be included in this monthly fee. It is also very scalable. So from small library, which have only just got the one library, to a regional chain, and also to different type of libraries, like you have a local suburban family residential kind of library, to the national library that have five floors, or to a academic university library, which caters for completely different use case. They're catering for students on there. So it has a centralized management. So you have a unified dashboard, and you can monitor all of them. You can have your user access control. So for your branch manager to your head office event organizer, so things like this. So different access control, and also single sign-on. A lot of libraries use the single sign-on. Already have a user access system, so we can have that integrate with that using a single sign-on to that. So then you don't have to be creating different user account. For the larger libraries, apart from the entrance, they may be interested in knowing the different zone usage. Then you can have optional extra for the different spaces, like the function rooms, reading room, archive room, children area. So we can use that. But the expansion with the Pro One, or we have other devices as well, is very cost effective. So, and you can expand it in the future, and you don't need to buy a complete different solution. So it's future proof and very cost efficient. So let's look at, for example, a small library. What would they need? So a small library, usually they'll only just need one at the entrance, and that will be the cost, $650. And you will have all these metrics, including all these patron groups, the visit duration, and so forth. We have a sample floor plan design there. For medium-sized library that may have additional entrances apart from the main entrance, what you would use there is that you will use a Pro 2 at the main one, which is 650 to cover a very wide entrance. And then you can use our sister device, which is very cost effective, only $150 for that. And one Pro 2 can have up to three sister device, three Pro 1. So this will make it like where you have multiple entrances that you want to cover. So it doesn't make it so it will still keep it very affordable. You do not need four of this. So you can keep it, just around $1,000, and you will have all your four entrances covered. Now, for larger libraries that would like to know their other probably if I look into there, the usage of the different spaces. So they can have one device at the entrance, for example, here, and then one device at the staircase to see how many people are going upstairs. And how many people are using the computer facility, and how many are using the children area, and in the children area, how many are using the more casual sitting area, than the more structured table sitting area. So you can have all these additional metrics there. Again, it will still be at that price. Of course, then you can expand if you then needed extra locations, then you can do that. Yeah. So the buying process is we want to make it as simple and transparent as possible. We have a lot of resources here to help you with, and you can make use of that. For example, if you want to implement a system to enhance community engagement and funding justification, so we can help you with the purpose of that, why you would need the patron counting, how is it supporting your community program, what kind of program you're supporting on there, and what is the system overview and the budget estimate. So we have this, and for example, another one is like if you're having to replace an old system with a more modern system, so that kind of thing. So if you can make use of that, we have a leaflet with here that talks about the library requirements specifically, and how is the deployment, usually is one device, and what is the system design. You have the hardware and the software, the metrics that you're getting, the different use cases for different stakeholder, for example, the director or the branch manager, and obviously even for the visitor there, then you can have like a live occupancy tracker and things. Like if you're running an event, you can put it on your website. How many people are turning up here? You still have space. Please come in now, and things like this. And also all those covers all those more technical stuff and installation and so forth. Yeah, so we have all these resources that you can make use to help you uh, uh, with that. And also, of course, then come to us, contact us if you want to book a meeting to go through more detailed demo of how the system works, or if you want to discuss a little bit more of this. A lot of our libraries, they are applying for funding to fund this infrastructure, this investment. So we can help you with that as well. So come and talk to us. Yeah. So usually the timeline would be, so you're starting, you're comparing with different vendors. So your due diligence, of course, you have to compare with different vendors. You can come to us so that we can show you what we can do fully, our competitive advantage. So then you can compare, in more details from the different vendor. And then as we mentioned, sometimes you can apply for funding for it. So we have all those documentation, all those technical details. We have helped a lot of different libraries apply for that. So we can share the experience on what is useful and what is effective. Then when you get the budget, then you can go ahead with the installation. After that, we provide training as well. Training for how to use the data, how you would maintain it, how you can, if you want to customize the reporting as well, so you can do that. And so you're starting using the data. And then of course we will take care of your system and yourself with the ongoing maintenance and support. This goes into business as usual for that. And we mentioned about uh, in here, you can also explore the different options for whether or not you're using your own during the installation. You can use our team, or you may use your own preferred installer. So we have a lot of partners all over the world, so we can help with installation. But equally, we have supported a lot of libraries who have their own preferred installer. They may choose their own preferred installer. One is because maybe they themselves is capable of installing themselves. He's IT guy, he knows how to run a cable, so he can save a cost on there. Or they may have already have someone who take care of their library. They have a handyman, and then of course, then it makes it very sensible to use your own team. So the key takeaways of this webinar is that we have a very reliable and accurate counting system, and we can count different type of patrons from individual adult to in a group, to children, to people in a wheelchair, and then so that you can see the different patron traffic trend, different type of people coming in, who are they, and how they use the space. And it's very cost effective, it's an affordable solution, and you have upgrade options like using a Pro one, so making it even your project price can come down, and with the extended coverage and additional area. So when you then want to know about your zone inside usage, it's not then too high on the cost, and it's very easy to maintain. We have a team who would support you with a very fast response SLA. We also have a local team who could also help you with locally. So and it itself, the system itself is designed to have a very simple upkeep and hassle-free to operate. So please do. I encourage you to contact us to have a chat. So because we are here to help you, to give your team the insight needed to improve your services and justify your funding. We want to help you to understand your goal as well and how you can achieve that. So do come to us. We can set up a meeting and we can explore further. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Melissa, for the insightful presentation. We have covered some great points, and thank you for joining the workshop. And we will see you again next week.
Thank you.